Okay, perfect. Okay, so hi Angela. Thank you for coming in. What brings you in today?
Um, I'm just feeling stressed, I guess. I have a lot going on right now,
Hmm.
and it's just been really hard to juggle it all and prioritize everything.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'm feeling really stressed out.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, okay. So, uh, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're feeling kind of overwhelmed about everything going on, and just really feeling that stress buildup from everything that's going on in your life. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's definitely nailed it. I have a 12-year-old daughter,
Hmm.
and I've been divorced now for about 6 months.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to juggle this new life of working full time, still being a good parent to my daughter.
Hmm.
And then there's like some added financial stress now that,
Hmm.
my household doesn't have two incomes. So I'm
Right.
feeling really like burnt out, I guess.
Right, right. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. That's a full plate. You're trying to do your best. Obviously, like there's a lot of changes in your life right now, so it definitely makes sense that you would really feel that stress buildup from all these changes and all these events in your life, and I can understand why that can weigh on you. Um, so, just diving into the details, tell me about your relationship. What kind of happened there?
So really it's kind of like been a marriage that has been going downhill for a long time.
Hmm.
We stayed together for the sake of my daughter, but now that she's 12, it's just time. But there was like we just didn't agree on a lot, like the way that we parent and
Mm-hmm.
financial stress. He had a gambling problem. So that really like just took a toll on our relationship between like it was a hidden gambling problem. I didn't
Hmm.
know about it until
Mm,
not that long before the divorce. I initiated the divorce.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, and then just like life goals, like we just didn't have the same life goals as far as like financials and stuff like that.
mhm, mhm. Okay. And how long were you married? I'm not sure if I caught that
We
from you.
were, yeah, we were married. I want to say almost 13 years.
Okay. Married 13 years. So it's definitely been a bit of time with this specific person, for
Yeah,
the majority of you mentioned your daughter's life, correct?
yeah. I think we got married like right before I got pregnant, I believe.
Okay. 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 So that's definitely a while. And I can see how that again that change is would be a lot for anybody. So
Mhm.
I definitely understand where you're coming from there. And so you mentioned when it comes to the stress right now, um, can you describe to me like what that has done to you? Like, can you describe to me like what you have really been seeing with yourself throughout
Yeah,
the stress that you're feeling?
yeah. I constantly worry, um,
Hmm.
and it really like affects everything in my life. Like I have trouble sleeping.
Hmm.
I wake up multiple times a night, like kind of like in a panic, just because like I'm worried, and it's not just like one thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about everything. I'm worried
Right.
about my daughter's feelings. I'm
Hmm.
worried about how I'm gonna pay bills. I'm worried about honestly just like every part of navigating my life. Like so right now, since the divorce, I've been renting,
Hmm.
and rent prices are just skyrocketing. So
Sure. Absolutely.
yeah, I'm really, really worried.
Hmm.
Like I said, the sleeping is just absolutely ridiculous. I've lost some weight. Like my appetite's just not been there, probably because I've been worrying so much.
Hmm.
Um, I find that I'm like really irritable. Just like something small can happen and I snap and I don't mean to and I don't know why, but it's there.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm feeling really guilty about not being a good enough parent for my daughter, because I know
Mm,
that she's struggling too right now, with her mental
mhm,
health.
mhm, mhm. Okay, so yeah, that's I can understand where you're coming from there. Just if we were even just to talk about the cost of rent, that's definitely a huge issue for a lot of people right now. So, on top of that, just I'm worried about, being able to be there for your daughter and being able to make ends meet. Yeah, that's a lot for anybody to deal with. That's a lot for
Yeah.
anybody to deal with, Angela. Um, excuse me. Can you tell me, because you mentioned these feelings of not really like feeling enough for your daughter. Can you tell me like a time when that feeling specifically popped up for you?
Yeah, so she plays soccer, and she
Hmm.
had a big tournament coming up, and I had to work overtime
Hmm.
um to make the car payment,
Hmm.
and I couldn't go. And
Hmm.
in that moment, like, if, like, I didn't leave her dad,
Hmm.
then I wouldn't have had to work that overtime, and I would have been able to be there. So yeah,
Hmm.
I feel really, really, really guilty about it, and I know that she was upset by it. She told me
Hmm.
she understood, but just her behavior, I know that she was upset by it. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so, there's a lot of examples. There's a lot of things that I've had to miss lately.
Hmm.
Um, so and it's a big change for her because I've always been there for everything, like
Right.
anything, so it's
Hmm.
a change, and I'm feeling really, really guilty and crappy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, it seems like, the focus that you've had has been, making sure that you're making ends meet. But, because of everything that you're going through, because of the fact that you have all these responsibilities, not even just including your daughter, but also your work, that it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And I can definitely see, why that's weighing on you. So I for sure feel for you in that regard, and I can understand where you're coming from. Can you tell me uh, specifically a time where has there been any time in the last 6 months where you haven't felt that stress, where you've kind of felt at ease about like everything that's going on?
Yeah, I think right after, so like very early in the beginning of that 6 months, I did feel
Hmm.
like a sigh of relief,
Hmm.
because for a moment I was like, oh, I can do this. This is the best choice for us.
Hmm.
So I think it was like really before reality set in of all the barriers and obstacles
Hmm.
that my daughter and I are gonna have to overcome. So yeah,
Hmm.
so very early on, it was just more excitement
Hmm.
about the possibility of what our future can hold.
Hmm.
Um, but that quickly burned out when reality set in, and kind of everything started to just like fall apart. And yeah, so yeah, that was probably like the last time I felt like that, like the first and last. It was like the only time that I felt that way in the past 6 months. So ever
Hmm.
since then, I've really been struggling.
Hmm. Okay, so kind of that initial feeling of freedom, and then having, as you said, kind of having to deal with making sure that you can keep that freedom,
Yes,
dealing
exactly.
with bills and everything else. Yeah, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for sure.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to therapy, what are you looking to get out of therapy when you come in for sessions?
I think I just want to learn how to manage like that worry that I have.
Hmm.
Um, and maybe some like coping mechanisms.
Hmm.
Because right now when I am just completely feel taken over by that
Hmm.
worry, I will drink. And I know that's not a good example for my daughter.
Mm, okay.
So I feel like that's a negative way of coping. So I would really just like to learn some positive ways to get rid of this stress and anxiety.
Hmm.
Um, and then it also doesn't work because then like the next day, the way I feel makes me more anxious. Like,
Hmm.
like my employer is going to know that I like drank the night before, or like
Hmm.
sometimes I won't wake up to my alarm and that will make me late for work. So it's just like,
Hmm.
yeah. So what I'm doing right now isn't working. So yeah, just
Hmm.
healthy ways to manage my anxiety or my worry. And yeah. So I guess
Hmm.
that would be the main thing. And maybe even some like trauma work, because,
Hmm.
my relationship wasn't great. So maybe just exploring, that so I can process it, I guess
Hmm.
would be a good term.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the things that I would really love to work on in therapy.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So, just a quick demographic question for you, Angela. So you mentioned that you uh, got married, and you were pregnant, uh, like right before you got married. And how number one, how old are you?
I'm 40.
You were 40, okay. And how old was your ex-husband?
He's 42.
He's 42. Okay. And
Yep.
what year did you guys get married?
So 13 years ago.
So 2013,
Yeah, that
about.
sounds about right. Yeah, that'd be right. 2013.
Okay, so 2013. Okay. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So, just based off of what you've been saying, I definitely think that, we could definitely get some work done in sessions. You mentioned that, you're worried about your daughter's feelings, you're worried about trying to make ends meet, whether it's rent or making sure that you're on time for your job. In terms of goals, you mentioned, you want to manage your worry, you want to find some coping mechanisms, you want to help with stress and anxiety, and you also want to do some trauma work as well. And that's something that we can definitely go over if you would like to do the work in further sessions. Does that sound something you'd want to do?
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds like a plan, and I'm ready to dive in and do the work.
Okay, perfect. We will follow up next week and we will get to the bottom of everything. Okay,
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much for your time today.
absolutely. Thank you. Take care.
You too.